Your heart is a pump. It's a muscular organ about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your chest. Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body. In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year. Oxygen-poor blood, blue blood, returns to the heart after circulating through your body. The right side of the heart, composed of the right atrium and ventricle, collects and pumps the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. The lungs refresh the blood with a new supply of oxygen, making it turn red. Oxygen-rich blood, red blood, then enters the left side of the heart, composed of the left atrium and ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to the body to supply tissues with oxygen. 4 valves within your heart keep your blood moving the right way. The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary, and aortic valves work like gates on a fence. They open only one way and only when pushed on. Each valve opens and closes once per heartbeat, or about once every second. A beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxing is called diastole. During systole, your ventricles contract, forcing blood into the vessels going to your lungs and body, much like ketchup being forced out of a squeeze bottle. The right ventricle contracts a little bit before the left ventricle does. Your ventricles then relax during diastole.
The circulatory system, also known as the cardiovascular system, is a group of organs and vessels responsible for transporting blood, oxygen, nutrients, and other vital resources to each cell within the body. The system consists of the heart, arteries, vessels, and lymph, which all work together to ensure the survival of the body. Without these systems, the body would not be able to get rid of illness and homeostasis could not be maintained. The heart is constantly pumping blood throughout the body, which keeps the circulatory system working at all times. Most of the arteries carry oxygen-enriched blood away from the heart to other locations in the body. Blood is the transport method to make sure the body can continue to function correctly. According to the Arkansas Heart Hospital, 2,000 gallons of blood travel through 60,000 miles of vessel each day. This is shocking to think about. This just shows how important the circulatory system is to everybody. The heart was overall described in the video you just watched, so we now know that it is a huge part to the circulatory system and the body itself. The heart helps transfer nutrients and blood via arteries and blood vessels. These are all important roles within the circulatory system, and it helps keep the body functioning.
Cardiovascular disease is primarily caused by plaque buildup in the arteries, which is also known as atherosclerosis, which causes clots to form and prevents blood to flow through the body. There are 3 main causes to heart disease, number 1 being an unhealthy diet consisting of saturated fatty food and red fatty meat, and also a lack of fruits and vegetables. Not to say that fat isn't good for you, but too much of it can cause a lot of damage in the heart. Number 2 is a lack of exercise. For instance, sitting on the couch all day watching Netflix only makes the heart weaker and more susceptible to failure later in life. Number 3 is smoking. There are around 7,000 chemicals in a single cigarette, all of which can contribute to damage in the heart and buildup of plaque. In addition, smoking also greatly contributes to lung problems such as lung cancer. Other causes of heart disease include defects from birth, which could come from a genetic mutation or could be inherited, high blood pressure, which could also come from genetics or from dietary habits, diabetes, drug abuse, such as overuse of cocaine, heroin, and amphetamines. Also, too much stress, which causes high blood pressure, and finally, viruses, bacteria, and parasites.
Symptoms of cardiovascular disease include pain or pressure in the chest, pain or discomfort in the arms, back, neck, jaw, or upper stomach, shortness of breath, nausea or fatigue, lightheadedness or fainting, cold sweats, or an irregular heartbeat. If these symptoms continue to get worse, then medical attention should be sought out immediately. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in both women and men. There are about 630,000 deaths due to heart-related diseases per year. Coronary heart disease is the most common type, consisting of 366,000 deaths per year. 735,000 people report to have a heart attack per year. 525,000 of those people report it to be their first heart attack. 210,000 of those people report it to be their second heart attack. Cardiovascular disease costs the U.S. about $200 billion per year to cover healthcare services, medications, and lost productivity.
Medical treatment, whether it be medical intervention or medication, is often necessary for people that have heart disease. The most common treatments for heart disease are CPR, stent placement, bypass surgery, the implementation of pacemakers, and of course, transplants. Some of the more common medicines for treating people with heart disease are aspirin, ACE inhibitors, clot buster drugs, beta blocker therapy, and antiplatelet drugs. Cardiovascular health is integral to our well-being. Commitment to good workout regimens and a balanced diet is a major factor in maintaining this health. Exercises that are proven to be beneficial to the heart are running, walking, swimming, rowing, cycling. There are plenty of others, such as hiking and various other activities that are also very good for your heart, but these are just a few, for example. And diets should include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, limited saturated and trans fats, low-fat protein sources, reduced sodium intake, and just restrict overindulgence in general for maximized health benefit.